high above a star that burned with quiet brilliance. The Intergalactic Council's citadel floated silently. It was a magnificent structure, made of living metals that shimmered like liquid silver. Inside, representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations gathered, each species more exotic than the last. Tentacles waved, eyes rotated independently, and bodies glimmered with colors no human could name. Yet among all the grandeur and diversity, a single question dominated the chamber. Earth. The debate had lasted for cycles. Many council members saw Earth as a small, primitive planet, its species weak and technologically backward. They argued it would be easy to conquer. "They are primitive," said one counselor, a crystalline being from the planet Krill. "We could take their resources in a single cycle without resistance." "Resources?" hissed another, a shadowy, almost intangible figure from the dark planet Noctara. "Do you not see? They are laughable. Their weapons are nothing compared to ours. This is a simple matter of efficiency. Vote and the outcome is obvious." Yet a few voices spoke in caution. One of them was Zaryl, an observer from the Arivian species. He had spent time studying humans in secret, traveling close enough to observe them but never interfering. Zaryl's skin was pale blue and his eyes reflected light in ways that made them seem deeper than any ocean. "They are not what you think," Zaryl said quietly, his voice calm but firm. "They are unpredictable. They learn quickly. They adapt. Underestimating them could be a grave mistake." Laughter echoed through the chamber. "Unpredictable? They are still using primitive tools," a member from the metallic planet Farian scoffed. "We have fought species that evolved millions of cycles before them. They will crumble before our fleets." Despite Zaryl's warning, the vote proceeded. It was conducted with the flick of appendages, the press of sensors, and the hum of alien technology. One by one, representatives cast their decision. For Earth, it was a near unanimous vote in favor of invasion. Only Zaryl hesitated. His heart, or whatever part of him felt something akin to human intuition, tensed. The Council's verdict was clear. Earth would be invaded. Back on Earth, life continued with blissful ignorance. In the crowded streets of New York, people hurried to work. Children laughed on playgrounds, and news of the Council's vote would never reach them. For humans, another ordinary day was unfolding. Completely unaware that the fate of their planet had just been decided in the glittering citadel above the stars. Zaryl lingered as the council adjourned. The others celebrated quietly, confident in their decision. For the Arivian, however, unease filled his mind. He had watched humans closely during his observations. He had seen how they solved impossible problems with creativity, how they helped one another in ways that defied logic, and how their minds worked in ways the council could not predict. "They are clever," Zaryl whispered to himself, almost in disbelief. "Cleverer than we realize." Meanwhile, in the skies above Earth, alien scouts arrived. They were sleek, metallic, and designed for stealth. At first, they moved silently, recording data on human technology, population, and communication networks. Humans, however, had begun to notice anomalies, strange disruptions in satellites, unexplained interference in communication systems, but no one suspected the truth. To them, these were technical glitches, nothing more. Zaryl watched these scouts from a hidden vantage point. He saw humans interacting with machines in ways that were creative, unexpected, and efficient. One human engineer, using little more than a screwdriver and a piece of code, managed to override a communication satellite and redirect its signals. Another, a teenager tinkering in a garage, managed to jam the alien signals for a few crucial seconds. "These are not animals," Zaryl said softly. "They are something else entirely." Inside the council, the news of scout missions came back as routine reports. Most members ignored them, seeing nothing but minor interference. "Their systems are flawed," said one counselor. "Even their brief resistance will not last against our full fleet." But Zaryl was troubled. "Resistance?" he muttered. "They may not be warriors, but their ingenuity. It is dangerous. Dangerous to ignore." The council prepared its fleets. Ships from dozens of worlds converged, creating a spectacle unmatched in the galaxy. Massive warships, bristling with weapons and shields, formed formations that stretched across orbital space. Their engines glowed with energy drawn from the hearts of stars. They were designed to overwhelm any civilization with sheer firepower. Earth, from the perspective of the alien fleet, seemed fragile. Oceans shimmered under sunlight, clouds drifted in unhurried patterns, and cities looked like tiny clusters of life clinging to a spinning rock. The Council expected the invasion to be swift, almost ceremonial, but Zarel hesitated. He had studied humans long enough to understand something critical. They never surrendered without effort. They never yielded when cornered. And they had a way of surviving that no alien had ever fully understood. On Earth, life went on. In small towns and sprawling cities, people worried about bills, school, and work. They marveled at the occasional meteor shower, unaware that some of those meteors were scouts silently recording data. Governments issued reports on satellite malfunctions, dismissed as solar storms or technical glitches. Scientists puzzled over strange anomalies in communication signals, never imagining that these were signs of alien observation. Zarel's mind returned to the Council. They will strike soon, he thought. And when they do, humans will be tested. But I fear the Council does not understand what they are about to face. The Council's confidence was absolute. This is the natural order, one alien boasted. Primitive species are meant to be subdued. Nothing about this operation is risky. Zarel, standing quietly to the side, knew differently. Humans had something the Council could not measure. Creativity born from struggle, courage forged from uncertainty, and unity that defied logic. It was impossible to predict, impossible to control. As the Council adjourned, preparations for the invasion accelerated. Fleets moved into position. Commanders reviewed strategy, confident that victory was assured. Yet in the shadows of the citadel, Zarel lingered. He had a plan. Though it went against every protocol of the Council, he would not interfere directly. Not yet. But he would observe closely, and when the moment came, he would act if the humans' ingenuity proved what he believed, that they were not weak, and that underestimating them could shatter the Council's confidence forever. The alien invasion fleet hung in Earth's orbit like a massive dark cloud. From space, the planet below seemed fragile and blue, a jewel the Council had already marked for conquest. Warships larger than cities gleamed with alien technology, weapons charged and ready to fire. Every member of the fleet was confident. This would be a simple, almost ceremonial victory, but confidence, Zarel thought, is a dangerous thing. In New York City, people walked the streets unaware of the immense fleet above. Office workers chatted, children played, and traffic moved in its usual chaotic rhythm. And then strange things began to happen. Satellites flickered, communications went haywire, and power grids experienced brief but inexplicable blackouts. Engineers scrambled to figure out the cause. It's probably solar interference, one scientist suggested. Maybe a glitch in the system. But Zarel, watching from a hidden orbital observation point, saw it differently. Humans were already responding and adapting. A team of engineers in Silicon Valley had discovered a way to intercept the alien signals. Using simple coding tools, they managed to redirect communication channels, confusing the alien scouts and sending them false data. It begins, Zarel whispered. The alien fleet descended slowly, expecting little resistance. From the eyes of the invaders, Earth's military seemed almost laughable. Fighter jets were small, slow, and their missiles would barely scratch the hull of a single warship. Yet as the first alien vessels fired their beams, something unexpected happened. The beams misfired, veering off course. A powerful cannon melted part of the ocean near Tokyo instead of the military base it targeted. Alien commanders shouted orders. Check systems. This is impossible. But humans had no advanced alien technology to manipulate. They had only curiosity, ingenuity, and determination. Scientists and engineers, using existing satellites, civilian drones, and improvised devices, created unpredictable disruptions. Small drones flew close to alien ships, reflecting radar signals in ways the invaders had never anticipated. Power grids were turned into traps that briefly overloaded alien sensors. In one remote desert in Nevada, a teenager named Alex had rigged a makeshift EMP device. Using a scrap of satellite equipment, solar panels, and a homemade circuit, he activated it when a scout ship hovered nearby. The ship's shields flickered violently and its engines sputtered. The alien crew panicked. No council member had prepared for such clever resistance from a species they thought primitive. Zarel, one officer said, we underestimated them. Again. Zaral nodded. I warned you, he replied quietly. They do not fight like any species you have faced. They adapt, they learn, they survive. They are unpredictable. That is their strength. Meanwhile, humans began to coordinate without any centralized command. Amateur radio operators, scientists, and engineers shared discoveries online. Hackers collaborated with academics, pilots with programmers, and ordinary citizens contributed in ways that surprised even their own government. Using ingenuity and teamwork, humans created strategies that could disrupt alien fleets without ever firing a single conventional missile. Alien ships that had seemed invincible were suddenly vulnerable to the most basic human tools: drones, radio waves, and a few clever manipulations of gravity sensors. Fleets fell into disarray. Formation attacks failed, as the humans found ways to jam navigation systems and mislead the alien targeting computers. Zaral's eyes glowed faintly as he observed. This is incredible, he murmured. They are not just resisting. They are improving. Every failed strike teaches them something new. They learn faster than I have ever seen. On the ground, soldiers and civilians alike discovered new ways to fight back. Engineers took abandoned industrial robots and reprogrammed them to move debris against alien weapons. Civilians in small towns built signal jammers using scrap metal and old electronics. Every time aliens thought they had an advantage, humans had already turned it against them. Council members began to argue among themselves. This should be impossible, one Farian commander shouted. We have never faced such resistance from a primitive species. They are evolving, Zaral replied. Not biologically, but mentally. Their mind is their weapon. As alien fleets struggled, humans demonstrated another unexpected skill: improvisation under pressure. When an alien strike caused massive power outages in London, local engineers quickly rerouted power from underground sources, using makeshift lines to keep hospitals and communication networks alive. When a spacecraft hovered above Beijing, children in science clubs had already hacked surveillance drones to mislead it, giving military forces a brief but crucial advantage. Humans were chaotic, yes, but their chaos was smart. They turned every weakness into opportunity, every mistake into a lesson. Alien commanders were frustrated, and their confidence began to crumble. In orbit, Zaral made a decision. He would observe the humans closely, but he also began to subtly interfere in ways that might save them from total destruction. Not because he wanted to control the battle, but because he feared the Council could make a fatal error. A single misstep, he thought, could wipe out a species unlike any other in the galaxy. The first major battle came over the Pacific Ocean. Alien ships fired in formation, expecting the humans to scatter or surrender. But humans, using coordinated satellite and drone strategies, turned the assault into a trap. Missile launches were redirected, shields overloaded, and alien targeting computers jammed repeatedly. Ships that were supposed to strike critical targets instead drifted harmlessly over empty water. Zaral watched with growing admiration. They are not soldiers, he said. They are thinkers, inventors, and fighters combined. They are remarkable. Reports from alien fleets began to sound almost panicked. We cannot predict their moves, shouted a high-ranking officer. Every time we attack, they adapt faster than expected. What is this species doing? Human ingenuity shone in ways no alien had anticipated. A team in Nairobi used radio antennas to create a makeshift sensor net that disrupted alien communications. In Buenos Aires, engineers repurposed satellites to intercept and replay alien signals, confusing their navigation systems. Ordinary humans, often armed with nothing more than laptops. Knowledge and courage began to turn the tide in ways that would have seemed impossible just hours before. The first real human counterattack surprised everyone. Using repurposed alien technology scavenged from failed scout ships, humans managed to disable a small fleet vessel, forcing it to crash in the Indian Ocean. Alien casualties were minimal, but the psychological impact on the invaders was immense. The Council had never imagined that such primitive beings could turn alien weapons against them so effectively. Inside the Council, arguments erupted. We must withdraw, one shouted. We cannot continue under these conditions. Impossible, another countered. They are only a primitive species. The solution is overwhelming force. Zaral, observing both sides, realized the Council's confidence was cracking. Humanity was teaching them a lesson that no weapon ever could. Intelligence, creativity, and courage could defy expectations. On Earth, as the sun set across continents, humans continued their resistance. Citizens of all nations contributed in small but critical ways. Scientists worked tirelessly to decode alien signals. Engineers and hobbyists built devices to interfere with spacecraft sensors. Pilots coordinated with civilians to direct strikes. Even ordinary people, completely unaware of the galactic stakes, adapted their lives to survive and help. It was not just technology that saved them. It was their spirit, their relentless determination, curiosity, and courage. The aliens, despite their advanced weapons and fleets, faced a species that would not bow, would not surrender, and would never stop learning. Zarel finally understood. Humans were not just another species. They were exceptional. They were unpredictable, adaptable, and remarkably clever. The Council's vote to invade, made in confidence and arrogance, had underestimated something fundamental: the human mind. And as night fell across the planet, lights flickering in cities and towns, the humans prepared for the next stage of the conflict. They did not yet know the scale of the threat, but instinctively, creatively, and bravely they would resist. Zarel made a silent vow. He would protect them, not because he had to, but because the Council's misjudgment could destroy something rare and extraordinary. He had seen the future, and he believed humanity could survive it. Above Earth, the alien fleet hovered, confident yet increasingly anxious. Below, humans continued their lives, unaware of just how remarkable their resilience truly was. The first contact had already shocked the Council. The first battle had begun, and humanity, with nothing but courage, intelligence, and ingenuity, had already turned the tide in ways no one had predicted. The Council had never faced such confusion. Reports poured in from every fleet commander, alien formations broken, communications jammed, and the simplest attacks foiled by unpredictable human actions. What should have been an easy conquest was now chaos. Zarel observed quietly from his concealed position on a nearby asteroid. His pale blue eyes reflected the galaxy's light, and his mind raced with amazement. Humanity was not only surviving, they were thriving under pressure. Every failure the Council had predicted was turning into an opportunity for humans to adapt. In Washington, D.C., the United States military and civilian scientists were coordinating in a way the aliens could not understand. Using a combination of repurposed alien drones, satellites, and Earth technology, they created layers of defense. Missiles and energy beams that once threatened cities now misfired or were redirected harmlessly into the ocean. Engineers developed algorithms that predicted alien movements before the invaders could execute them. In London, a group of scientists had turned abandoned underground tunnels into strategic hideouts for communication hubs. These hubs allowed humans to reroute power and signals in seconds, confusing the alien fleet further. In Mumbai, teenagers in local tech clubs used recycled electronics to build interference devices, jamming alien sensors at critical moments. The humans are not following logic, one frustrated alien commander complained. They are using unpredictability as a weapon. They are intelligent in ways we cannot measure, Zarel admitted quietly. This is why they survive. Every assumption we made is wrong. Their minds are more adaptable than our technology. The Council convened again, this time in alarm. Screens displayed battle footage, satellite scans, and reports of alien ships failing, one after another. A small strike force had been completely disabled by human interference. The Council had expected a minor setback, maybe a few damaged ships. Instead, an entire fleet had been neutralized without humans firing a single heavy weapon. "You said they were primitive," shouted a Council member from the crystalline world of Krill. "They cannot possibly do this." "They are not primitive," Sorel replied. "They are something new, something dangerous to underestimate." Back on Earth, humans were learning from every encounter. Engineers dissected fallen alien drones, understanding alien communication systems and energy weapons. Pilots coordinated strikes using improvised strategies, often defeating superior alien ships by exploiting flaws the invaders had never considered. Ordinary citizens, students, office workers, hobbyists, became part of a global network of intelligence. Every small action, every improvisation contributed to the resistance. A critical moment came over the Pacific Ocean near Hawaii. Alien ships attempted a coordinated strike on military bases and communication hubs. Humans, however, had predicted the attack. Using a combination of satellite jamming, drone diversion, and improvised countermeasures, they turned the strike against the alien fleet. Missiles and beams collided in midair, shields overloaded, and one by one ships were forced to retreat or crash into the ocean. In the council chamber, disbelief turned to panic. "They are turning our weapons against us," one alien shouted. "This is impossible." "It is not impossible," Zaral said calmly. "They are learning faster than we can adapt. Every attack teaches them something new. Every mistake we make becomes their advantage." Alien fleets began to operate in fear rather than strategy. Commanders hesitated to fire, fearing their attacks would be turned against them. Their once pristine formations fell into disarray, each ship moving independently to avoid human improvisation. The Council had assumed brute force would dominate. They were wrong. Humanity's strength was not in numbers or firepower. It was in intelligence, creativity, and unpredictability. On Earth, humans began to experiment further. Scientists in Tokyo created an improvised shield using repurposed satellite parts that could absorb alien energy beams for seconds, enough to protect critical targets. Engineers in Berlin used electromagnetic pulses to disrupt alien sensors during strikes, while students in São Paulo developed ways to intercept alien communications and feed false information to enemy ships. Even the smallest humans made a difference. A group of teenagers in rural Canada used homemade drones to lure a scout ship into a canyon, forcing it to crash. A retired engineer in Italy repaired an old radar array, discovering a way to detect alien cloaked ships. Ordinary humans armed with curiosity and courage were changing the course of an interstellar war. Zaral began to speak more openly in council meetings. "You cannot win by force," he warned. "The humans' greatest weapon is their mind. Every time you strike, they learn. Every time you fail, they adapt faster than expected. We have underestimated them, and it could cost us dearly." Some council members began to whisper among themselves. "Perhaps we should negotiate," one suggested. "Perhaps humanity is not the threat we believed. Never." Another replied fiercely. "They are still primitive. They will eventually be crushed." But the evidence was undeniable. Humans were already beginning to capture alien technology. In New York, an alien drone had crashed during an attack. Engineers quickly analyzed its systems, finding ways to reverse engineer its energy shield. Within hours, humans had replicated a basic version of the shield, using it to protect key installations. The Council's confidence began to crumble. The Erivian Zaral stood silently, knowing the Council would soon face a choice: continue underestimating humans and risk total failure, or acknowledge a species unlike any other in the galaxy. He understood that humans were teaching the galaxy an important lesson. Strength is not measured by fleets or weapons alone. It is measured by ingenuity, adaptability, and courage. In Rio de Janeiro, a group of engineers discovered that alien communication signals could be manipulated using Earth's simple radio waves. By sending carefully timed pulses, they caused enemy ships to misfire, crash, or turn back. What should have been a minor resistance became a global phenomenon. Humans were not only surviving, they were thriving. The alien council, meanwhile, grew increasingly divided. "We should withdraw," one voice pleaded. "These humans are unlike any species we have faced. We risk losing entire fleets. Withdrawal is weakness." Another cried, "No! We will finish them." Zaral remained calm. He knew the Council's internal conflict was as important as the battles themselves. Humanity's resistance was not just breaking fleets, it was breaking assumptions, shaking the very foundation of the Council's confidence. Back on Earth, humans prepared for the next strike. They had learned to anticipate alien strategies, to counter them before the fleet could act. Pilots coordinated with ground teams, scientists with engineers, civilians with military personnel. Every small contribution mattered. A decisive moment came near the coast of Africa. A fleet of alien ships approached, intending to attack major cities simultaneously. Humans had already prepared. Using a combination of satellite rerouting, drone interference, and improvised weapons, they turned the attack into chaos. Alien beams collided mid-air, shields overloaded, and ships were forced to retreat. The humans' ingenuity had once again turned what should have been disaster into victory. Zaral's eyes glowed faintly as he observed. "They are remarkable," he said. "Their creativity, courage, and unity are more powerful than any weapon. The Council's arrogance will be its undoing." Reports of human successes reached the council chambers. Some members began to whisper of diplomacy. Others demanded overwhelming force. But every plan of force failed. Humans were too adaptable, too clever, too united. The council's confidence, once absolute, was shattered. They had underestimated a species that refused to bow, that turned every weakness into strength. Humanity was teaching them that intelligence and courage could defy even the most powerful fleets in the galaxy. The alien council had grown frantic. Every plan they executed against Earth failed, and every failure strengthened humanity. Reports of human ingenuity and clever tactics filled the council chambers. Commanders argued endlessly. Some demanded overwhelming force, while others whispered of retreat or negotiation. Zeril, standing in the shadow of the council, observed quietly. He had seen humans at their best, and he knew their strength came not from numbers or weapons, but from intelligence, creativity, and courage. The council's arrogance had blinded them, and now it was their greatest weakness. Above Earth, the elite strike force of the council assembled. Ships twice the size of the previous fleet glimmered in orbit, bristling with weapons designed to crush any resistance in a single strike. The commanders were confident. This time they believed Earth would finally fall. On the surface, humans prepared without fully knowing the scale of the threat. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, improvising defenses, coordinating communication networks, and predicting enemy movements. Pilots flew missions to test alien technology scavenged from previous battles. Civilians contributed, turning ordinary objects into tools of defense. "We have never faced anything like this," said General Carter, the commander of Earth's combined defense forces. "But we will fight. We will adapt, and we will survive." The first strike came over the Pacific. Alien ships descended in a perfect formation, ready to fire. But humans anticipated the approach. Satellites and drones, now fully integrated into global defense networks, created layers of interference. Missiles misfired, energy beams malfunctioned, and the fleet's formation fell apart before a single human city was harmed. In Tokyo, engineers had set up a network of satellite relays. By carefully manipulating signals, they caused the alien sensors to misread positions, forcing ships to collide or retreat. In New York, drone squads created illusions of military formations that didn't exist, drawing fire away from actual defenses. Every attack the aliens made was countered before it could reach its target. The elite strike force became frustrated. "Why do they resist?" one commander shouted. "They should have fallen by now." "They are learning," Zeril replied quietly. "Every attack you make, they adapt. Every mistake you commit, they turn against you. They are remarkable." Humans, meanwhile, had begun to turn the tide actively, using alien technology captured from previous battles. Scientists and engineers developed weapons and shields far beyond anything imagined a few days before. A small fleet of human-piloted drones now carried energy disruptors, capable of disabling alien weapons temporarily. Missiles that once would have been destroyed by shields now broke through, hitting critical targets. In London, civilians and military engineers had constructed a massive communication network underground, protected from alien attacks. From there, they coordinated countermeasures across continents. Messages were transmitted instantly, allowing humans to respond to alien maneuvers with astonishing speed. The first major human counterattack occurred near the coast of South America. Using a combination of repurposed alien drones and improvised EMP devices, humans disabled a group of elite alien ships, forcing them into the ocean. The victory was not just tactical, it was symbolic. Humanity had taken the fight to the invaders. Zeril's eyes glowed faintly. "This is the moment," he whispered. "They are no longer defending, they are attacking." The council underestimated them completely. The alien elite forces, once confident, now acted with caution. Every movement was calculated, every attack tentative. They feared the humans' unpredictability. Fleet commanders argued endlessly, blaming each other for the failures. The council's once united front was now fractured. On Earth, humans continued to innovate. In Sydney, scientists created a network of electromagnetic shields that absorbed alien energy beams, giving cities temporary protection during attacks. In Berlin, engineers used old satellites to relay signals that misdirected alien navigation systems. In Mumbai, hackers intercepted alien communication, feeding false orders that caused ships to fire on each other. Even ordinary citizens made a difference. Children playing with drones in Canada accidentally discovered a tactic that diverted enemy ships into a canyon. Farmers in Argentina used farming machinery to create traps that disabled low-flying drones. Humanity's ingenuity was everywhere. The decisive battle came over the Atlantic. The Council had deployed their largest fleet yet, intending to crush human resistance in a single assault. Thousands of ships descended, energy beams flashing across the sky, weapons charged and deadly, but humans were ready. Using a combination of drone swarms, satellite interference, and improvised energy shields, they turned the attack against the invaders. Missiles were intercepted mid-flight, beams misfired, and elite alien ships collided. In New York, a team of engineers activated a series of relay devices that disrupted enemy targeting systems globally. Ships that should have dominated the battlefield were now retreating or disabled. Zarel observed quietly, impressed by humanity's coordination. "They are not just fighting," he said. "They are thinking, planning, adapting. They are changing the rules of war." Alien commanders grew desperate. "We cannot predict their moves," one cried. "Every attack fails. Every strategy is countered." "How is this possible?" "They are human," Zarel said simply. "And humans never give up." As the battle raged, humans captured more alien ships. Pilots used captured vessels to attack others, turning alien weapons against themselves. Engineers modified alien energy disruptors to disable multiple ships at once. Civilians helped in countless ways, from guiding drones to relaying messages. Every action contributed to the growing tide of resistance. By the end of the day, the elite strike force was in disarray. Ships retreated, some destroyed, others captured. The humans had not only defended their planet, they had delivered a decisive counterattack. The Council's confidence was shattered. Inside the Council chambers, arguments erupted. Some members called for withdrawal. Others demanded more force, but their voices carried less authority. The humans had proven something undeniable. Brute force alone could not defeat them. Their intelligence, creativity, and courage made them an entirely new kind of threat. Zarel stepped forward. "You see now," he said, "what I have tried to warn you. Humanity is exceptional. They are not weak. They are clever, resourceful, and united. Every assumption you made about them is wrong." Some council members looked skeptical, clinging to old arrogance. Others, however, realized the truth. The humans had survived attacks that should have destroyed them, adapted to alien technology faster than any other species, and turned every disadvantage into advantage. The Council's trust in its own judgment was shaken. On Earth, celebrations were muted but meaningful. Cities lit up as energy shields held. Communications flowed freely, and pilots returned from missions victorious. Humans had not only survived, they had struck back decisively. But they knew the battle was not over. Alien fleets would regroup, more cautious but still determined. Humanity's ingenuity had bought time, proven resilience, and shattered the myth of alien superiority. Zarel, watching from his hidden vantage point, made a decision. He would continue to observe and, when necessary, guide humans subtly. They had shown the galaxy that strength was not measured by weapons or fleets alone. It was measured by courage, intelligence, and unity. The Council had underestimated humans. Now the tide was turning, and in this turning the galaxy would witness a lesson it would never forget. Never underestimate humanity. The Council had never faced such humiliation. Every expectation they had about humanity had been proven wrong. Their fleets, powerful and advanced, had been repelled. Their elite strike force, confident and feared, had been shattered. Every attack only taught the humans new ways to adapt and fight. The Council's faith in its own judgment began to crumble, replaced with doubt and fear. Zarel observed quietly, his pale blue skin reflecting starlight. He had seen humanity survive the impossible, improvise against superior technology, and coordinate in ways that no other species could manage. He understood what the Council had missed. Humans' greatest strength was not their weapons. It was their minds, their courage, and their spirit. Back on Earth, the humans were ready. Cities buzzed with activity as scientists, engineers, pilots, and civilians worked together. Resources were repurposed, improvised weapons upgraded, and communications networks perfected. Humans no longer merely defended. They were preparing to take the fight into alien territory, using captured ships and technology. General Carter stood before a group of top strategists and scientists. "This is our moment," he said. "We've proven we can defend ourselves. Now we can show them what humanity is capable of. Every step we take, every action we make, will demonstrate that we are not weak. We are not primitive. We are united, clever, and unstoppable when we work together." In orbit above Earth, alien fleets gathered for what they hoped would be a final assault. Thousands of ships bristled with weapons, glowing with energy drawn from stars. Their commanders believed that overwhelming force would finally break human resistance. But humans were ready. Using a combination of satellite interference, drone swarms, and repurposed alien technology, they prepared traps for the incoming fleets. The first engagement came over the Atlantic. Alien ships fired in synchronized formations, expecting the humans to scatter. Instead, humans used deceptive tactics to draw the fleet into a carefully planned ambush. Drones intercepted missiles, satellites disrupted targeting systems, and improvised energy shields protected key locations. Alien ships collided, misfired, and in some cases crashed into the ocean. Zarel's eyes glowed faintly as he observed. "They are not just surviving," he said softly. "They are leading. They are teaching the galaxy a lesson that no one expected." On the ground, humans continued their innovations. In Tokyo, engineers enhanced energy shields using alien tech scavenged from previous battles. In New York, teams of hackers intercepted alien signals, feeding false orders to enemy ships. Pilots coordinated with civilians, scientists, and engineers to execute precise strikes that disabled alien fleets without risking human lives. Even ordinary citizens contributed. Children guided drones in cities, farmers created improvised obstacles for low-flying craft, and volunteers relayed communications across continents. Every action mattered. Every contribution made a difference. Humanity was proving that strength was not measured by weapons alone, but by intelligence, courage, and unity. The Alien Council, observing the battle, began to fracture completely. Members argued bitterly. "We must withdraw," one shouted. "We cannot defeat them." "No," another cried. "We have the technology. We have the fleets. We cannot let them survive." But their technology, their numbers, and their confidence were no match for human ingenuity. Every fleet that attacked was disrupted, every weapon turned against them, every strategy anticipated. Humanity had become an unstoppable force not through might, but through mind, spirit, and collaboration. The decisive moment came when humans captured several alien warships. Pilots used the ships to attack the remaining fleet, turning the Council's own weapons against them. Engineers modified alien energy disruptors, creating chain reactions that disabled multiple ships at once. In cities worldwide, civilians and scientists coordinated attacks, jamming communications, misdirecting ships, and protecting human strongholds. Zarel watched quietly, his face reflecting pride. Humans had done something no other species could have achieved. They had turned an invasion into a victory. They had not only survived, they had triumphed, showing the galaxy the full extent of their courage, intelligence, and adaptability. Finally, the Council convened in emergency. Their fleets were in retreat, their elite strike forces decimated, and their confidence in their judgment destroyed. Zarel stepped forward. "You see now," he said, addressing the Council, "what I warned you about. Humanity is exceptional. They are not weak, primitive, or expendable. They are clever, courageous, and united. Underestimating them nearly cost you everything." Some Council members hung their heads in shame. Others whispered that negotiation might be the only way forward. The arrogance that had once dominated the chamber was gone, replaced with respect, reluctant, but real. On Earth, humans celebrated cautiously. They had survived the invasion, defended their planet, and even captured enemy ships. But they knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had proven its strength, but the galaxy was vast and the challenges ahead would be many. In the aftermath, Zarel approached human leaders. "You have done what no one believed possible," he said. "You have turned an invasion into a victory. You have proven that ingenuity, courage, and unity can overcome even the most powerful adversaries. The Council will now see you differently. They will respect you, or they will fear the consequences of underestimating you again." General Carter nodded. "We didn't fight just to survive," he said. We fought to show that humans are more than what they appear to be. Every life, every action, every mind contributed. We proved that intelligence and courage matter more than brute force. Zeril smiled faintly. You have earned a place among the stars. The galaxy will watch humanity with new eyes, and the Council will never forget the lesson you taught them. In the council chambers, debates continued, but the tone had shifted. Some members argued for diplomacy and trade with humans. Others admitted, silently or not, that their previous assumptions had been catastrophically wrong. Humanity had shattered their trust in their own judgment, proving that they could not be underestimated. Across Earth, life slowly returned to normal. Cities rebuilt, scientists analyzed alien technology, and ordinary citizens returned to daily routines, all knowing that their planet had survived an unprecedented test. Humanity had faced a challenge unlike any other and had emerged victorious, not by overwhelming force, but by using their greatest weapon, their mind and spirit. The Council, once arrogant and confident, had learned a hard truth. Humans were not primitive. Humans were exceptional, and the galaxy would never forget it. As night fell across continents, Zeril gazed at the stars. Humanity had proven its place in the universe, and the Council had been humbled. The war was over, but the lesson endured. Never underestimate the human mind. Never doubt human courage, and never ignore the strength of unity. Earth, once seen as a fragile, insignificant planet, had become a beacon of ingenuity and resilience. Humanity had survived the impossible, adapted, and triumphed. And now, they looked toward the stars, ready for whatever challenges awaited, confident in the knowledge that together, nothing could break them. The galaxy had changed. The Council's trust had been shattered, and humanity had shown that true strength comes not from weapons or fleets, but from intelligence, courage, and an unyielding spirit.